Hello, this is Tasty Eats by Tess, and what I'm going to be making today is a breaded cutlet, or some call it a schnitzel. So we'll go ahead and get started with this. I just have a piece of plastic wrap here, and this is just the center cut of a pork loin, and we're going to be flattening that as much as we can, leaving it a little space to grow here, like that. And we don't want to actually use the pointy ends of the mallet. We want to use the flat end, and that's because if we're using the pointy end, it's just going to break up your plastic wrap and your loin. So let's go ahead. It's going to be noisy. And you can push that along as you go with that. If you see how I'm pushing with this, just gets it separated more. Very noisy, but I have to show you. I promise you we'll only do one of these and the rest we'll do behind the scenes. Perfect. So that's about the size or the thickness that we want. So you'll see how much that grew in comparison to our small piece of the center loin chop. It's grown substantially here, and it's pretty thin. You can see here, nice and thin. That's what we're looking for. So we'll just go ahead and continue with those. As we're doing that as well, we're going to be dipping it in egg and then in the breadcrumbs. The egg has a little bit of salt in it, and we're going to put salt, garlic, and onion powder. That's the only spices that you want to use in this. Perfect, so we'll continue on with those. Perfect, so I have those all done up for you. I've left one here, and we just dip that into the egg. And also, you wanted to give this a bit of salt, if I hadn't mentioned it prior. Salt, garlic, and onion powder. And nothing more than that. So you want to be quite liberal with the breadcrumbs. And just push it down a little so that it sticks nicely to your pork loin. And let's say you're having guests one evening and you want to make sure that you have everything prepared ahead of time and you're not so crunched for time. I think the best thing to do is, and what I've done in the past, I just take these and put them into the refrigerator until I'm ready to fry them up. Because when you're having guests over, or you're doing it for your own family, you have to eat these right away. You can keep them in the oven and keep warm, but the best is to eat them fresh out of the pan. So we'll go ahead with this. The pans are heated up here. And just put it kind of back from you. And we'll probably go with 3 in here. The amount of oil, it's approximately a half a cup that you're putting in. I hope I can fit all 3 in the second pan here. This one's sizzling a little more. And we won't be able to fit that second one in. So we'll just let this go here. And I'll be showing you what we're going to do with our potatoes that we have boiling. Great, so those are nicely golden here. I've just taken those off. I also boiled the potatoes that I told you about, and I've drained them. So there's nothing left in there. There's no water left inside. We're just going to add 3 tablespoons of butter in there, 3 to 4 tablespoons of butter. And into that, we will add some dill. Quite a bit of dill. It's fresh dill, by the way, or frozen. You can also freeze your dill so that you can always have it on hand. So that's going to be about 3.5 to 4 tablespoons of dill. We just put that lid back on and we give it a really good shake. You just want them to not really mash up, but they get really kind of mixed up in there with the dill and the butter, a little raggedy. There, perfect. So there you have it. We just give that a stir around here just to make sure that all the dill and the butter is incorporated with the potatoes. Lovely. So we'll go ahead and plate this up. Let's get this out of the way here for 1 second. Beautiful. You really want to have something plain with the cutlet because the cutlet is, of course, because it's deep fried, you want to cut some of that fat somewhere else. Some people like to serve this with a sauerkraut, also equally well. I'm just going to give it a little bit of color here with some grape tomatoes. Give that a little bit of salt as well. And just for an extra pop of color and extra flavor, just some green onions. Before giving it a thumbs up and subscribing, let's just give this a try and see how it tastes. I'll give you an idea of how that looks as well. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Beautiful. It's very good. Make sure that you don't overcook it. Just a few minutes per side. It does cook relatively quick because you have it in a very hot pan. So it'd be medium to medium high that you'd be cooking this on. Because it's so thin, it will cook very quickly. Perfect. And there you have it. And that's how it's made. Have a good day.